For those of us raised well before the invention of the heat advisory, and in cities which get hot summers, those of us who are outdoor enthusiasts, especially who love ball playing, nothing could be more exciting or bring a moment of happiness with more intensity than the weather forecasts that we are hearing right now for a city such as Dallas, Texas. There's no question the city has hundreds of heat enthusiasts which are just counting down the days. Of course, it happens every summer, right? But in the year 2021, the first 100-degree day didn't occur till a month later, one of those years. So it doesn't happen every year where we hit 100 so early, but hundreds with a type of heat that the Midland, Texas National Weather Service says is almost unbearable will be taking place over the city for the next week, maybe even longer. There's no end to the heat in sight. People who love playing ball and getting an extra runner's high from heat like this are no question in seventh heaven right now. And the good news is once it's here, it's here. It's here to stay. It's here to stay for a long time. And people who are into this, it's healthy for you. If you're not into this, it's dangerous for you. If you're into it, people pay money just to go into saunas, and even these television programs, The Biggest Loser, they go into these saunas for an hour a day with temperatures of 200 degrees. 175 to 225 degrees are temperatures that can commonly be found in a sauna. Here we're not speaking about anything similar to that. Back in the days before the invention of the heat advisory, even after the heat advisory, ball players continued to play ball. Professional sports never got canceled in any of these cities. People would play games of driving home with the parked car as hot as an oven without even opening up the windows. In the days before air conditioning, the summers were even hotter in the Midwest when you go back to the Dust Bowl years. This whole idea of staying indoors is something which, to some of us, some of the population here, is not only unheard of, it's abusive to those of us that get the runner's high. So to the group of us that live for weather like this is an extremely exciting and happy moment, and something that the rest of the country is only jealous of. For those people who are living in Texas and Louisiana, I wish all of you a week of hatzlacha, of enjoy it while you have it. And I think the northern cities don't have the slightest idea what they're missing out on. If studies would be done, which would include people's emotional state after involving themselves in ball playing of such heat, the outcome would be completely different in regards to the dangers of heat. You compare someone who, instead of being outside due to the heat advisory, they went to see a movie, and they walk out of the movie as depressed as can be, versus another person who walks out of an hour tennis match with tons of gloves, by the way, to prevent the racket from coming out of your hand, the sweaty hand. When a person serves, they're certain to destroy many rackets that way. Coming out of a tennis match with a Slurpee in an air-conditioned building, compare the two. One of them is on a high, and the other one is depressed as can be. Which one has a stronger immune system? There is no question. The outdoor enthusiast, the heat enthusiast, is much better off. So we respect the New Orleans, Louisiana National Weather Service. It's a caring statement. What they make is that please send this message out. This is something which is dangerous. The heat is dangerous, but we have to make different categories. There's a small part of the population where the heat will boost the immune system due to their emotional state. The healthiest thing to do for a small part of the population, it might be small, it shouldn't be small in my opinion, it used to be much bigger, but is to encourage people to go outside and play ball, use sunblock lotion, take frequent breaks, wear light-fitted, light-colored clothing, and drink tons of water, and just enjoy, especially a 1-to-1 game like tennis. It's going to be hard to get a game of baseball, but baseball is the heat. Baseball is, some people only play when it's boiling hot. Anyways, this is music to the ears, the intense heat that's headed down in Texas. There are those of us that have an absolute fascination with heat. Some people love storms, some people love blizzards. They get a racing heart when they hear the intensity of the low pressure to a blizzard. Other people get a racing heart, our heat enthusiasts, when they hear the decimeters associated with this mid-level to upper-level heat ridge going into the 590s. It's difficult to say without a racing heart. If you have true empathy, if you live outside of that area, you could only feel the true happiness for them if you have empathy. And how we wish this would spread across the entire country so that all of us can take full advantage of it. And those people that don't like the heat, just stay in your air-conditioned building all day. That's all you have to do. I wish everyone a wonderful week. Enjoy the weather. Hundreds for Dallas, 100 in teens as you go to the west of Dallas, 100 degrees for Baton Rouge, no end to the heat in sight. Heat starts tomorrow, but in many places starting Friday. New Orleans, Louisiana National Weather Service tells us that the heat ridge will have its most minimal impact on them on Friday. So for them, you're going to have to wait till after Friday. And regardless of whether it's a heat ridge or no heat ridge, right after the heat ridge breaks down, there's a thermal ridge that moves in. It's going to get even hotter with that. So it looks like a long season of very hot summer weather for that area. Enjoy. The following is for heat enthusiasts only. If you're not a heat enthusiast, please go elsewhere. This isn't something that will be good for you. One of the most exciting moments is headed for those of us that love the summer, love to play ball in the summer heat. Probably the most convenient sport. If someone loves playing ball in over 100 degree weather, I come from a community where at least there's a little click in the community where your status in the community is dependent upon the number of hours you play ball when it's in the mid 90s with high humidity or in the hundreds with no humidity. And I'm sure there are hundreds of people like this. And unfortunately, there's no place to turn to. People like this feel very lonely because nobody gets it. Nobody gets it. If you're not into this, don't do it. But if you're into it, this is going to be the pulse. This is the pulse of your blood. And this is something that you have to take full advantage of. And it is very, very healthy. People pay money to go into saunas, which are 180 to 225 degrees. Granted, they're only there for 10, 20, sometimes 30 minutes. But, you know, in that show, The Biggest Loser, where they lose weight, they're in the sauna for an hour. So they're in the sauna for an hour. Granted, over here, you're playing ball, but the temperatures are much lower than what you would find in the sauna. I've seen camps with kindergartners with temperatures over 100 degrees daily. This happened back in 1988. Nobody stayed home. Everyone was outside. This was in the days before the heat advisory. These were in the days where the National Weather Service issued advisories for animals. You bring the animal inside. If a dog, if you can't walk on the pavement because it's too hot, neither could your dog. People should be looking in the car, making sure that the cars are empty. Don't leave any child in the car when temperatures are this hot. That's the things that people should be worried about in regards to themselves. This is the people who are not into it, I think they're missing out on a tremendous opportunity, especially the youth who could be playing ball and instead they're inside. And many times, especially those living on the coast, many times temperatures don't actually reach the true heat advisory criteria. But even if it does, this is a true experience that those of us who are already into this, those of us that are already doing it, we're doing it anyways. So this is something that we do not want to miss. And those of us that are not there, we could at least imagine that we are there. I want to hear from the crowd at this point. Anyone who is not a heat enthusiast has certainly turned this off by now. The only people left are the heat enthusiasts. There's no question. There's no question we're going to hear a major cheer. Oh yeah, that's the way to go. That's the way to go. All these tennis players. I'm going to say some advice, however. If you do play tennis and you have a normal serve, a good, or even a better than normal serve, and the high humidity, there's so many rackets a person could break as the sweat and the rackets just fly out of the hand, and rackets are a lot of money. So here's the advice. 7-Eleven sells these gloves of rubber, and you'll have to buy many, many pairs when you're playing tennis in such heat. I personally think you're best off doing it in the middle of the day when the sun is out, because the sun will at least evaporate the sweat, and at night it's just every moment you'll be switching gloves. But, and also it's more fun, there's more of a thrill, there's more exciting, and it's healthier. You get more of a runner's high when you do it during the day. And always remember, go into an air-conditioned building afterwards and get your Slurpee from 7-Eleven. It just feels so amazing. So
because of how old are you?
4.
There's hundreds of people out there that are going to be doing this either way. And if you don't, you're going to be stuck inside for an entire week, maybe even more. If you don't, it's I don't know what to say. All right. Thank you for listening, and really enjoy this weather.